Hello and welcome to another day on Cornwall Pocket Farm, where I try and figure out how to live sustainably on 300 square metres in the city. Well, Merry Christmas to you all and a Happy New Year. We're the other side now, we're into 2023. Wow, where does the time go? Anyway, I thought I would start this year, just catch you up on everything really, and then from there we can kick off with a new year. So, what have I been doing? Well, if you live in Auckland, you'll know the weather has been pants. It's been terrible. We had Christmas Day, which was hot, which was a bit inconvenient for us, but after that, it just reverted to this wet and windy weather, and I think we've got another week of it. So I've got some pretty unhappy tomatoes. My beans have got rust at the moment for breakfast, which is really lovely. I've been having, I have muesli every morning, probably too much information, but anyway, with my muesli I have been having blueberries and raspberries and strawberries and plums, all of which are cropping at the moment in the garden, which has been delicious. But the last few days I've been out and the strawberries are literally moulding on the plants.
It is so drippy wet. It has been raining for a week, just wet, miserable. It's warm. The plants are going absolutely nuts. But wet and warm, and we've got about another week of it, so it is really drippy and misty. But I should just show you. Big puddle. We always have a puddle on the carport which needs to be sorted. The branches there have broken, but this is the big news. We have bananas. The flower came out, we spotted it over Christmas, and yeah, now there are bananas coming. So it's very exciting. I'm not quite sure what to do with it, so a bit of YouTube research I think is definitely required there. I'm not quite sure what's broken, what's not, but there seems to be quite a bit that's broken in that elderberry because we had a lot of wind. But I shall have to get in there and try and sort it out and see where we're at and maybe tie some stuff up. But not while it's so wet, because it's just miserable. Everything is so drippy. Look at that. How gorgeous.
We did have lovely sunshine for Christmas Day, which is a bit of a pain to us because even though we've been here for 30 years, we still do a full traditional English Christmas dinner. But obviously this requires several hours in the kitchen and it's tricky. When you're in the 30s, it's pretty warm in the kitchen. So when we moved here and just decided to try and figure out how to live sustainably on 300 square metres in the city, we went vegetarian. And that is, we do mostly vegetarian. So at home we're vegetarian, pretty much, apart from the odd anchovy or something like that, but yeah, all of our meals pretty much vegetarian. But when we go out, basically the rules are you can eat whatever you like. And Christmas dinner is another one where we tried doing a vegetarian Christmas dinner, and I mean it was okay, but it just didn't feel very Christmassy to us. So we have Christmas Day off, so that's why we do the turkey. Just as a we started off being much more strictly vegetarian, and it's very hard. If you want to do something and commit to it, I think if you make it so that sometimes you can cheat, it's much easier to keep sort of down that path. I mean, obviously we're not, it's not that we're allergic to meat or anything like that. It's a choice that we've made. We decided based on the impacts to really, really reduce our consumption, which is what we've done. But Christmas dinner, we go with the turkey. So that was the weather forecast with a little bit of something in between, because I go off on a tack and then can't find my way back. But anyway, yes, that was Christmas dinner. What did I do over Christmas? Well, with all this wet weather, I decided to organise my winter sowing because, believe it or not, we are actually now at the time where I need to start putting seeds in the ground for winter crops. So, I mean, barely had summer, if we've had summer at all. So yeah, but that's where we're at. So I planned out my winter garden using my Excel spreadsheet system, and I have done a video about this. I'll put the link up in the corner, just if you want to have a look at how I work out where I'm going to plant things, what I'm going to plant, and when I need to sow them so that they're ready to plant at the right time. I have actually improved my system a little bit over the Christmas break, so maybe I'll do an update video on that soon. But yes, a little bit of improvement, but pretty much along the same lines. So I did all that, and I've worked out that now I need to start sowing my seeds. So at the same time, I put my order through to a couple of different seed companies, mainly seeds that I'd run out of, a couple of new things which I will fill you in as we get there. But yeah, mainly just making sure I had the seeds that I needed to do my winter sowing. So I did that. What else did I do? I went shopping with my daughter. Very rarely go shopping nowadays, because that was another thing that we changed about our habits, is that we sort of stopped unnecessary shopping. Sounds a bit odd, doesn't it? But you know, we stopped shopping for entertainment and recreation, and what I generally do now is I buy secondhand when I can. And this also followed to our shopping trip this time. So we went to the Recycle boutique. If you're in Auckland, you'll know that we have a couple of shops, I think it's a chain, called the Recycle boutique, and they basically sell, I think they sell on behalf of other people, clothes that they don't want anymore, maybe don't fit them, or they didn't get on with, or something like that. So we went along there and shopped, and I got a few dresses and a t-shirt and a shirt, a couple of skirts. So I'm really pleased with that. So I've got some new clothes to go into the new year with, which will be really nice. I'm also sewing a new dress at the moment on my sewing table. You're sitting on my sewing table, so I'll have to turn you round and show you that. So yeah, a bit of a show and tell. We're going to do a bit of a show and tell as well as Christmas. It was actually a dress that I have had for years. I've loved this dress and I have worn it so much. It has actually gone on both of our cycle trips. It went around Europe with us, so that's 2 years on a bicycle. It was the perfect dress, winter or summer, to basically walk around towns in. It was a navy dress with sort of 3/4 sleeves, and it was really comfortable. It was every occasion, dress it up, dress it down, as they say. It literally fell apart in my hands. I think I bought this dress secondhand, and I got it about, would it be about 10 years ago? 10 or 12 years ago I got this dress. I've tried to lay it out a little bit so you can see it. There's a sort of 2 sleeves and a bodice and a skirt, and it does actually have a collar as well. So as you can see, I took all these pieces from this original dress, cut them all out into paper, and then cut new fabric pieces, and now I'm in the process of trying to figure out how it all goes back together again, which is always a bit of a trick. So these are my Socktober socks. They're rather gorgeous, aren't they? Obviously Socktober, I think you're supposed to finish them in October, but I didn't manage to. There's 2 of them, obviously, 2 feet, 2 socks. And they are quite complex. So, and I've also got them on, this is a Christmas present that I got, which are some sock blockers from the Lupine Wool Company. They're a wonderful little knitting shop, wool shop in Parnell, and gorgeous people, really wonderful, and lovely stock as well. And these are locally handmade, I believe. So one of the things that we do at Christmas is, if we can, we buy secondhand. I'll tell you a bit more about that in a minute. But the other thing we do is try and support local business and local makers. I will put the details of the pattern on the screen because I can't remember. They're really pretty. And what I wanted was I wanted some dress socks. That sounds a bit weird, but socks to wear with dresses. Because what happens in sort of the autumn and the spring, I wear dresses because it's warm in the day, but in the morning and evening I have cold feet. So I wanted some socks that I could wear. I do wear socks at the moment, but they're stripy, and then perhaps don't go so well with my dresses. So I wanted some dress socks, so that's what I knitted these for particularly. And I should also tell you about a new find on the side of the road, which I'm very excited about. I took a little bit of footage when we first got it, so I'll insert it here and you can see. This is our latest find. The husband was coming up from town the other day and spotted these on the side of the road.
So he called me up and said, bring the wheelbarrow, and I brought the trolley as well, and look at this lovely pot. It's got a cabbage tree in it too, which has been severely pruned, but my priority is the pot. I would like to try and save the plant too, but if I don't manage it, the priority is the pot, I think, because I can always maybe take a cutting of that plant. But yeah, the problem with planting things in pots that come in at the top like that is that they're next to impossible to get out, but I am going to do my damnedest to achieve that, whether that's the destruction of the plant. But it's a beautiful pot. So that pot, and also I've got a little succulent pot with succulents, so that'll go in my succulent garden beautifully. And then there were these two other pots there, square pots, which I've got to find somewhere to put as well. But I don't think you can ever go past 2 of something. The only thing better than 2 of something is 3 of something. So anyway, so that was the find yesterday. And as you can see, though that pot there came back in the wheelbarrow, and those 2 came back in my granny trolley. But yeah, we managed it. So
just to say a little bit more about our Christmas. We now wrap our presents in fabric scraps. I have a big bin here, this one here, which is full of sort of the bits of fabric left over when I've made something. The string I then reuse in the garden after Christmas, and the fabric goes back in that box. So we have no wrapping, no waste, which is great. The other thing that we have evolved really is that we only buy new things for people if it's something they particularly want. Generally it's something they particularly want, they've asked for, and often they've just even given us a link to the actual product, you know. But we try and cut out all that gift giving, which is you open it and it's not really what you want, but now you're stuck with it because you were given it, and then you go, oh lovely, thanks, it's just what I wanted. And you know that feeling? I'm sure you've all been there, where, you know, you're just filling your house with stuff that maybe you don't want. And that's one of the things that we've done here, is we've very much decided not to gather stuff. So we don't have a lot of stuff in the house. It either needs to be really beautiful, that we love and we've often had for a very long time, or it has to have a very particular purpose. It needs to be in use or used regularly. So it either has that beauty or utility. Before we went travelling, we brought our family up, and then before we went travelling, we cleared out all of our stuff. We basically went through everything. We put a whole load of stuff on Trade Me. We gave things to charity. We just got rid of all of the sort of the stuff you accumulate when you when you have a family and life gets on, and especially in those days when, you know, you shop recreationally, you go out, you find something pretty that you like, you buy it, you get the high, the endorphins from buying that thing, then it comes into your house and now you have this thing, and then you need to look after it. It's now your responsibility. You need to dust it, you need to accommodate it, house it, put it in a drawer, a cupboard. You need to have this thing. You have the responsibility of this thing. And so we got rid of all this clutter, all this stuff that we didn't need, and it was very freeing. And then we went traveling and really discovered how little you actually need, because you can't carry that much on a bicycle when you're cycle touring. So we had very, very minimal things, and it was wonderful, really lovely. And so when we've come back, we've tried really, really hard not to regather a load of stuff. We obviously have more stuff now than we did before, because, you know, we're now doing the gardening, and we have chickens, and, you know, we have things like that. So obviously there's quite a lot of stuff in my sewing room, but it's all stuff that I use all the time to make things that I need. So Yeah, and a lot of the things that that I get are secondhand. So if I'm in an op shop and I see some cotton, some thread, or some Velcro, or some buttons, or something that I might need, I pick them up from a charity shop, because obviously it's cheaper, and it also is, as I've said before, stops things going to waste and stops me buying new things and stimulating the production of that new thing and all of everything that's involved in that, the manufacture, the mining, the transport, all of those costs of a new thing, if you like. When we come to Christmas, it needs to be something that we particularly want and have particularly asked for, or the other thing we do is that can lead to quite a sparse Christmas tree. So what's under the Christmas tree can be quite sparse if you only ask for what you want, and then you're someone that doesn't want a lot of stuff. I think that's probably one of the sides of reducing what you have and then being careful about what you bring into the house. You generally find that actually you start to not need or want that much stuff. Because I really believe that if you go shopping, shopping is designed to encourage you to want the next thing. If you go shopping and you look at the internet for things on the internet, then you're constantly being stimulated by marketing teams to want this thing. If you're not in that game and you're not shopping for things, you don't expose yourself to that marketing that encourages you to buy stuff. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's certainly what I found, is the less I've shopped, the less I've wanted to shop, the less things that I've wanted. So yeah, so the Christmas tree, to make it a little bit more interesting and more fun to open, we now do this thing where we buy secondhand things from charity shops. So you go out and you buy anything funny, anything silly, anything interesting, anything pretty, anything cool, anything you think the person might like or get some level of joy from. You buy it from the charity shop. You then bring it back, we wrap it up with fabric scraps and string, you give it to the person, and then what happens is, if that person doesn't want it, we have a pile in the corner which is to go back to the charity shop. So essentially the gift is the donation that you've made to the charity shop, if that makes sense. And as a side to that, you've got this fun thing to open. If you don't want it, there's no harm. It was just a part of giving to charity in the charity shop. You put it on the pile. That pile is then open to anybody else in the room to claim something off that pile. But if the things that are left in that pile, I have it in my living room at the moment, the pile then goes back to the charity shop so that then they can resell it to somebody else. So in effect then you've made a double donation. You've allowed them to sell that thing twice. So that works really well for us. We have lots of fun, we have lots of presents, and we have lots of fun and giggles and things to open. And some things that we get are wonderful and you really want to keep them. So I will actually show you some of the things that I got for Christmas that I really love and I am keeping. So yeah, come with me and I'll show you. So this is one of the presents that I got. So, well, two of the presents that I've got. Three of the presents that I've got, to be honest. So you see that what would it be? Terrazzo platter mat type thing. So that was one of the things that I got. I also got a salt and pepper shaker to go on top of it. And those really, really cute little candlesticks. They're tiny. So another thing I got were these brass candlesticks and the candles. So look at those. Aren't they cool? I gave them a bit of a clean up, but I think they're really beautiful. So I love them there. They just reflect in the mirror. I'm trying really hard not to get myself in this picture. But yeah, look at that, how cool. So I'm really pleased with those. So there's a bit of a candle theme going on. Also got that there, which is actually a sleeve ironing board. I'm going to try and get it out so you can see how it works. Yeah, so essentially it just lifts out like that. You put your sleeve over the top here and then you can iron your sleeve without, you know, when you're trying to press a sleeve. Oh, look, I can demonstrate. Trying to do this with one hand, this could be tricky. If I was trying to press this sleeve, this seam open maybe, I could put it on here and then press it like that.
So that was really nifty. That I will definitely use, and soon by the looks of things. So very excited about that one. Also got a vintage knitting pattern book, which is rather cool. So I do love vintage knitting patterns, always terribly tempted. And the people in it always look so uncomfortable. So I'll have to look through that and see if there's anything. Oh look, outdoor couple. How cool are they? Oh, they look very outdoorsy, don't they? So, yeah. Look at that. I'm obviously going to get some pearls for that one. So, yeah. Springtime knitting for the family. So that is definitely a delight. The other thing I got, you can hear me above this wind. It's pretty horrid, isn't it? The other thing I got was some new tyres, some new wheels and some new tyres for my bike.
Well, I hope that's a bit of interest to you, just a bit of a catch-up, a bit of a chatty video just to show you what I've been doing. And next time we'll probably be getting on with these seeds or doing something around the garden maybe. I'm not sure. Haven't really thought that far. Probably need to make a plan of what I'm going to do video-wise this next year. Maybe I'll get together with the team, Maggie, the chickens, myself, a bit of a planning day. I don't know, the chickens are going to come up with many ideas apart from, oh, strawberries, oh, raspberries. That's one of the byproducts, one of the things of having the mouldy strawberries. The chickens have been so happy, they love strawberries. Enough rambling, chatting about all sorts of stuff. I hope you've enjoyed this sort of mad everything video, just to catch up. And yeah. Onwards with a new year. If you've enjoyed this video, why not give it a thumbs up, subscribe, button down below if you want to see more like this, and I'll see you next time. Cheers. Bye.